if the thesis I outlined plays out, where people like Brad start to take profits at 150K, 200K, whatever it is, right? And then, we see a reduction in Bitcoin and then it comes roaring back and people are going, oh shit, this is the moment. It's going to $1 million. I got to get back in. We could actually legitimately see it take a run at $1 million. So my prediction is we are going to see the diminished return bubble get popped, the belief get popped, and then we're going to see Bitcoin take a run legitimately at $1 million this time around in 2025, 2026.
Wow.
That's what I did.
Dang.
What's going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. For everyone in the US celebrating, hope you had a nice holiday. Hope you're not getting trampled on for some TVs over in some Black Friday deals. It can get a little bit crazy, but that being said, it was nice to see the family and talk about the nice price action that's been going on for Bitcoin. And you can see right here that we are, in fact, still attempting to push up out of this area. Now, why this is so important, again, we were discussing that we have been in this upwards parallel channel for about, it's like 18 months or at least a year and a half or something. I'd have to, count all the bars. But you can see that every other time we got up here, swift rejection, right? We just got those quick wicks to the downside, and then we would fall down, right? Same thing. We got that quick wick. We didn't even get up to it this time. And right now, you can see that we're actually attempting to put some sort of solid body candles right on that area. Now, I was discussing in my video yesterday that we are looking for some potential volatility. And I said if we didn't get it today, we are most likely going to get it Monday or Tuesday. So make sure that you guys stick around because I do want to go into that. And another thing which has been creating some crazy buzz all over the internet right now is this tweet from Samson Mao. And he says the approval of a spot ETF would send Bitcoin to $1 million per coin over a few days. Gary and the SEC don't want to be the ones responsible for sending Bitcoin to the moon. Now, when you first read this tweet, you're saying to yourself, this is obviously some sensationalization. You know what I meant? Kind of like Balaji was doing, right? Where he was saying that Bitcoin could go to $1 million. But it's actually really strange because there's two charts that we've looked at on this channel, which are showing us some really interesting things. Now, if you were going to ask me if I think Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million in a few days, I would just, based on my experience, flat out say no, right? I mean, that just doesn't seem logical for something to move that fast, that quick. But I do want to dive into that today because you are going to be absolutely shocked when I play this video clip for you and when you run the math and when you consider what's going on right now, you actually start to almost question yourself. So you got to stick around for this. It's really incredible. We're going to talk about that, guys. And also, speaking about the move that we got over here on Bitcoin, we also got the move over on Ethereum. And again, if anyone was over in the free Discord right now that MetaSignals has, they did actually have this potential long that came out on the 6 hour. And as you guys can see right here, we not only cleared all three of the targets, but again, we even wicked outside the box. So yet again, MetaSignals has called literally another alert that played out perfectly. And again, if you guys are over in that Discord, I do just want to remind you that this morning they did go live with the minting. There's already been 33 of these that have been minted. There's only 2,000 NFTs available. And remember, this does give you lifetime access to MetaSignals and all of the future features that are going to be added. I mean, you can see the value right here. They're looking at $5,490 a year for these alerts. I mean, you could see they're pretty legit, but you can get that right now for basically 1 ETH, but it does increase every 100 up until 2,000. So if you wait too long, you could end up paying 3 ETH for it. Now, obviously, if the price of ETH tanks, over the weekend or the next week, that's good. You'll be getting it for cheaper, but obviously if the price continues to go up. So I'm just letting you guys know this again. There's only 2,000 of these that are ever going to be made. So, people have been joining the Discord, and if you do want to check that out, obviously, make sure you use the official link below, because they're scammers. But yeah, they're offering these free until December 12th. So you can go there, you can check it out, you can see the signals for yourself. I mean, people were able to see these signals. If you took the trade, well, it was a successful trade, right? So again, just letting you guys know, they've already sold out 330 of them, and it's only been live for literally a few hours. So obviously there are people who are interested in buying these up quick. So that's basically what I wanted to talk about. But what we really need to discuss is this situation with, you can see digital asset news, money flooding into crypto now, braced for a huge multi-trillion-dollar Wall Street earthquake, right? And then again, we have this tweet from Samson Mao. Now, he then followed it up. There was some criticism, right? So he says in 2017, it took 9 months for Bitcoin to go from $1,000 to $20,000. The block subsidy was 12.5. There was a lot more Bitcoin sloshing around on the exchanges. Mining was boiling the oceans, and there was zero institutional money coming in. And with just retail capital alone, for the most part, we were able to go from 1,000 to 20,000. So he's saying if we had Bitcoin around $50,000, a 20x from there would be 1 million. Now, obviously, going from 1,000 to 20,000 doesn't involve as much capital as going from 500,000 to 1 million. I think that's pretty easy to understand when you have a look at this, right? But obviously, a lot of people were jumping on this wagon, and that's where this clip sort of surfaced.
If the thesis I outlined plays out, where people like Brad start to take profits at 150K, 200K, whatever it is, right? And then, we see a reduction in Bitcoin, and then it comes roaring back, and people are going, oh shit, this is the moment. It's going to $1 million. I got to get back in. We could actually legitimately see it take a run at $1 million. So my prediction is we are going to see the diminished return bubble get popped, the belief get popped, and then we're going to see Bitcoin take a run legitimately at $1 million this time around in 2025, 2026.
Wow.
Damn.
Nice. But again, is that really even still possible? Well, we've already gone over the market cap sort of fallacy, right? How you don't really, like if you want to move price $1, you don't actually need $1, right? Because it's obviously just, to put it really simple, circulating supply multiplied by the last price bought or sold, right? Oversimplifying it, but essentially that's how you calculate market cap. And we decided that to move Bitcoin between, it was like $3.20 to $4 or something, you only need about $1. So each dollar can actually move the price $3 to potentially $4. Okay, so we got that out of the way. This right here is what we spoke about, was the percent of supply last active. And I showed you over on Glassnode, but I didn't have the updated chart. This right here shows you that it's at 70%, which is the highest level we've ever seen. Okay, so this is showing you, number one, that people just aren't looking to sell right now, right? So that's just one thing we have to consider. And we're going to get to the math in a bit, but let's just start small here. Another thing to consider is Bitcoin reserve ratio, US versus offshore. Now, we have noticed that in the past, there tends to be a bit of a run up in this sort of accumulation phase. And then when we have the blast off, we see that it starts to taper down, right? And we saw a very similar thing right here back in 2020. But as you guys can see right here, I'm probably in the way. The question is, are we starting to have that curve back up like we have seen in the past? Or is it just going to keep moving to the downside this time? Well, if we had the curve to the upside, we could say, hey, the cycle is repeating itself again. But on the flip side, if we don't really get any significant movement to the upside, this could also be explaining to us that, potentially, even though this is the ratio US versus offshore, at the same time, we have seen the lowest levels on exchanges that we've ever seen. Even all the, some of the coins that got taken off Binance, they actually did move over to Coinbase. But again, where are they going to be getting this Bitcoin from? Where is Wall Street going to be buying this Bitcoin from? Okay, that is the biggest question that I have. Then you have the halving, right? Obviously, the supply is, the distribution is getting cut in half. ETF approval, creating this demand, right? So this is where I wanted to turn it over, to my good old buddy British Hodl. You guys remember we had that video where he was talking about the importance of the ETF. He actually made a reply to the haters of this $1 million Bitcoin price prediction, and he actually took it mathematically and explained whether or not it is actually possible. And I definitely think you're going to want to stick around for this clip.
You would need a cash injection of roughly $180 billion, right? $180 billion of cash injection coming in order to get to that multiplier level. Now, this doesn't assume, this assumes that, there is no increase or change in the multiplier. This is basically assuming that the multiplier stays static. And as you've seen now, as I hope you've been watching my videos after you subscribe to my channel, like, the market doesn't stay static. During the fake ETF tweet by Cointelegraph, the market was up way more than that 118 multiplier inside of 30 minutes. And I think some of you managed to get some evidence of how this actually works, you know? So in the real world, rather than just listening to these people that like writing lines on charts. So you see how it works. It can go up and it can come down, right? And so if we did $180 billion, it's actually $178 billion, right, of capital inflow coming in to take the price to 21 trillion. Well, 180 billion is not going to probably move in on day one, right? It's probably not going to move in on day one. But if we have a look at, you know, what happens if that comes in the first year, right? What happens if, we'll get to the incentives in a second. But that it works out to, you know, there's 252 trading days in a year. So you're looking at $706 million of daily purchasing coming in order to make this happen in the first year, right? And you go, okay, cool. So what would be the equilibrium? What would be needed to come in to move the equilibrium price of Bitcoin to that? And the way we work that out, just loose balling it here, right? If we take $1 million per Bitcoin and divide it by, say, 30,000, it's a 33 times increase, which means that if there's $25 million a day coming in right now, right, you would need, assuming this moves in a linear fashion, you'd need $825 million a day worth of purchasing coming in. And if that happened in a single day, the price of Bitcoin would hit $1 million a coin. It does not need to be fully injected for that to happen. As long as that demand stays consistent, $800 million a day coming in to stay consistent, Bitcoin will be moving to $1 million a coin faster than anyone can think, especially the doom and gloom boomer traders who want to write lines on charts and talk about being in cash positions. By the way, my friend Teddy made a good point. He said that the next cycle is going to be filled with a bunch of Bitcoin bears talking about the fact that I still own a substantial amount of Bitcoin, even though they're sitting 80% in cash, holding their dick in their hands, right? That's basically what's going to happen here. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to profess to know about what's coming, tell you that the market's going to collapse and we're going to go into a bear cycle and all this other stuff, and then Bitcoin's going to go vertical, and then they're going to say, I still own a substantial amount of Bitcoin. Yeah, but you could own a way more substantial amount of Bitcoin than you do if you had just pulled your head out of your backside, right? That's the real problem here. So I want to make it clear, you don't need that much capital going into Bitcoin in order for Bitcoin's equilibrium price to move to $1 million a coin. And then here's the other point. As that move happens, less and less people want to sell because they think it's going to keep going up and up and up. So if Bitcoin goes from 30,000 to 70,000 in a day, right? Then suddenly the people who were thinking about selling are going, wait, let's see how far this goes. Now it goes from 70,000 to 110,000. Now more people are like, I need to get in because I'm going to miss out. So now the FOMO kicks in. The FOMO kicks in, people start withdrawing their Bitcoin away from exchanges so they can't sell it, and all of that kicks in. And who's incentivized to do this? BlackRock. Because what's better for BlackRock than launching a fund, and on the day that the fund launches, the asset price doubles and their fees double. So now all of their employees are happy because their employees are making fees. Their fees have just gone up. The clients are happy, the initial ones who got in, and you can use it as a sales tactic. Hey, we called you last time before it started trading. You said no. Now you're an idiot because the price has just gone from 35 to 70. Do you want to get in now before it goes to 110? Then their clients are going to say yes. So people are incentivized to move the price of Bitcoin up. I know there's a lot of $1,000 net worthers that think BlackRock is incentivized to move the price down, but it makes no logical sense. They make percentage-based fees off the dollar value of the asset. So therefore, the higher the dollar value of the asset, the more successful their launch is, the more successful their business is, and the more money they can pay out to their team. And again, you only need $800 million a day of purchasing, right? That might sound like a lot to you if you're sitting there with, $1 million net worth. But in the grand scheme of things, that's really nothing if the money starts flowing very, very rapidly. Do I think it's going to take a couple days to move to $1 million a coin? No, I don't. But is it possible? Absolutely.
So I've been saying for a long time that we could see a $1 million Bitcoin in our lifetime. And, it does sound crazy. It sounds crazy to say we're going to see that in a couple days of an ETF launch, right? No, I personally think that that's a little insane. But at the same time, you look at the TA and, obviously it helps us, it shows us levels. But when it comes to the realistic possible demand of this sort of outlier, when you have countries adopting Bitcoin, and remember how, young and new Bitcoin is, right? It's only 15 years old. Most people don't have Bitcoin. The majority of the world does not have any Bitcoin. There are still people that don't even really understand it or know what it does. Most of Wall Street is still somewhat confused about it, looking at it still as this speculative asset, speculative play. And, again, this big conspiracy to crash the price, as British Hodl pointed out, it just wouldn't make sense. And you're seeing these metrics, you're seeing these signals, you're seeing these indicators. One indicator I'm going to show you is borderline almost flipped 100% bullish at this point. And then you also read these articles and they explain that investors are returning to the crypto markets, particularly large digital asset funds encouraged by the possibility of the ETF. This product could entice traditional investors to cryptocurrency in a controlled manner. According to CoinShares, crypto products saw a $176 million inflow just last week alone. And if you don't want to just take this, I can tell you personally, I speak to OTC desks. I know the guys that run it. And I just had a conversation with one of these guys. It was like a week ago I was talking to him. And he says they've been putting in 16-hour days at the office. The demand has been absolutely insane. And they've been having difficulty sourcing liquidity for large trades. And the ETF is not even approved yet. So when you have these big guys that are coming in that are trying to buy, multiple $1 million worth of Bitcoin, they're not able to OTC it immediately. They actually have to, take their time, source it a little bit longer. So Caroline Bowler, the head of BTC Markets, also highlighted a discernible shift towards an optimistic market sentiment throughout the year, marked by a broad recovery that initiated in January. So again, an influx of new users and an uptick in trading volume further support our assessment that we're in early stages of a bull market, right? You got Hong Kong approving their first licensed LLC to offer crypto services. This is the first traditional securities company to offer services over in Hong Kong, okay? And then you got this guy over here. Now, again, there were people that were saying, Javier Milei, it's all just smoke and mirrors. He's not really going to do what he says. He said right now, he doesn't care what people want to use. If you want to use gold, if you want to use Bitcoin, if you want to use Tether, he says people should be free to transact in whatever currency they choose. And it says that he's promised to blow the political establishment up, disband the central bank, and dollarize the economy in the face of catastrophic hyperinflation. And earlier this year, he said that Bitcoin represents the return of money to its original creator. Well, guess what? He's only been in office for just a short time, and you already have the closure of the central bank is non-negotiable. So he's already looking to do this, okay? He's already looking to do what he says he's going to do. So all of this tying into this global adoption of Bitcoin, right? The understanding of the erosion of your savings through inflation and other measures. Are people really going to still go into these like treasury bonds and things over these years? They can't outpace inflation. Bitcoin is looking like a better choice over and over and over again. So what about the realistic assessment? Okay, well, if we take out all of these crazy outliers and we just look at this CryptoCon log curves extended. Now this is, I would say, arguably one of the most accurate ones to date. I mean, you could see that it does, in fact, embrace every bottom and every top pretty much. It even kind of called the double top, if you want to give them props over there. And if we just look at some of these bands, it's very likely that we'll at least get to the first of the red band. I mean, some people say, oh, diminishing returns, maybe we don't go to the top this time. But you could see, if you look at these projections just out here, for example, you have, and then I don't know why this is the date. Is this by the next top? Oh, the assumption of the cycle top. Well, I mean, you could see The low case for Bitcoin is around 94,000. The medium case is around 130, and the bullish case is around 180,000. And keep in mind, these are pretty much based on projections where we didn't have ETFs. We didn't have tons of, capital flowing into crypto from all these other places. We didn't have countries adopting it as currency. These were just average retail people just buying and selling the cycles, right? And again, we have a lot of those holders. So, going back to this right here, we are at a very critical level, and to be honest, I'm always skeptical about weekend price action. I don't trust the weekends. I know Bitcoin trades 24/7, but it tends to do some silly things on the weekends. A lot of times you'll see a big move, and then come Monday, it'll completely retrace. Or the other, it'll dump over the weekend, and then come Monday, it just pumps right back up to the price, right? So always be skeptical about the weekend moves for Bitcoin, but you can see that if we break out of this, that's a pretty bullish break. I mean, could we have a retest down again? Yeah, that's possible. In fact, I said that it might have even been healthy to come down at least to this, kind of try to retest this band, this EMA ribbon. But again, looking historically, when we flip this RSI above 70, and when we start really, rock and rolling above these bands, they tend to flip and stay for a very, very long time, and they tend to act as the support. Obviously, right here, we start getting into some turmoil when you start falling below it. That's kind of when you want to start, maybe saying, hey, the top could be close. And I mean, this thing is like basically flipping. I mean, I'm trying to look really close right here. It might be on the last of the EMA. You can see the 89 touching the red. But yeah, I mean, guys, this thing is going to flip probably next week. And historically speaking, that's usually it. So unless history just completely doesn't do what it does, I mean, or, some catastrophe, this thing looks like we should be either chugging along sideways in some accumulation or potential move to the upside. Again, I was a little bit cautious just because of how fast we entered into the blue zone. I still do have a target up here at 41,000. And if we were to have that breakout, I do think that's where we're going to go. I think Bitcoin's going to 41,000. But after that, I would start to get extremely suspicious of an increased move. Obviously, if we break through, have a retest of 41 and continue, then yeah, guys, we're probably going parabolic. But we have to wait and see, what happens as that comes, because one thing that we notice is these ascending, broadening wedges that tend to play out right before these major moves, right? You can see we had one here, and although we're not up to the top just yet, just to kind of throw that number, if we were to go straight up, that's kind of right around this $47,000 area, which I believe would pretty much coincide with this peak right here. I'll put the tool on if you want, so you can kind of see how crazy that would be. Look at that. That's almost damn near perfect. That's actually crazy. So yeah, that is a total possibility as well. Again, you got to take it level by level, though. I'm not going to sit here and promise we're going to 47,000, but if we did, I mean, you would pretty much be putting yourself in the beginning of the next run. Again, the Gaussian channel, flipping green, same thing, usually tends to start the last leg of the accumulation into the actual move. Again, this was COVID. I don't really count that. So, if we've already had our retests, and looking right here, this is going to start curving up, right? This right here is going to start curving up at some point. So even if Bitcoin was to come down, it might not even go down to some of those other levels. And, the other area to talk about, obviously we have our falling wedge breakout, but the shorter term volume range is sitting at around 39. And again, there's really not much between that and that $47,000 area. It's very interesting how a lot of these charts are all sort of lining up around this area. Now, again, if you were to just ask me based on like an opinion, right, of what should happen based on opinion, then I would say a healthy retest. Personally, I think we should probably revisit down to 30,000, right? That's what I would say if I had an opinion. But if I'm looking at the technicals and I'm looking at what the chart is showing me, and you're going into this kind of emotionless, there's not really signs of slowing down, which is kind of weird, right? So, ultimately, that's basically what we're looking at right now. And again, guys, I do just want to end on, the meta signals. If you are interested, remember that these do increase over time. 2 of them just got sold as I was making this video. Literally 2 people just bought more. And, it does increase. So if the price of Ethereum does start going higher faster, then it could get really kind of expensive. But again, when you're looking at lifetime access versus paying $5,000 a year, you really can't beat it, for lifetime access. But again, if you are skeptical, go into the free Discord. Again, the only place to mint the NFT is at metasignals.io/NFT. Anything else is a scam. I'm just telling you, don't go there. So you're more than welcome to check out the free Signals, until December 12th. But again, I don't know, with the people that are buying this right now, I don't know how long these are going to stay like that for. So again, that's it for me, guys. But, check out Meta Signals. Obviously, I'm not going to be talking about this every day. I'm not into shilling products, but this is a really good product. And it's something that I am personally invested in, and I can get behind it because I've been watching this thing for almost a year now personally. And yeah, it's just been performing absolutely incredible. So if you guys are interested, check that out. Obviously, nothing on this channel is financial advice. And, again, hope everyone had a safe and happy Thanksgiving. And I also wanted to give a special shout out to my friend, crypto lifer, Sam Price. Unfortunately, his mother passed away on Thanksgiving. My grandmother also passed away one year on Thanksgiving, and I know that that's not the same. I get it, but it is something you kind of never forget, and it does change that holiday, forever essentially. So I just wanted to, obviously thoughts and prayers, whatever, anyone out there who knows Sam, obviously just wanted to say, I'm really sorry about your loss, my friend, and yeah, obviously we're all here for you. If anybody needs, any help, we're all here, and it's just a terrible, terrible thing. So it's always hard for me to do stuff like this, but I really wish the best for him and his family. And I hope that everything is better for them. So I hate ending on that kind of a note, but it's just, the thing is, guys, at the end of the day, when it comes to it, it's, I had situations where I didn't speak with my family. We had differences over some things, and it sucks. And sometimes it's unfortunate. You don't get to pick your family. You don't get to pick your, immediate family. Sometimes you are in a family and there's just a total dick, right? But, needless, pointless fighting, you never know when it's your last day or when it's their last day. And it's kind of a weird way to end this video, but, if you've been thinking about reaching out, calling a loved one, or you're holding a grudge for no reason, and you want to call, but you don't want to be the one to be the first to call in case of a rejection, I don't know, just life is short, man, and the thing is like, crypto's great, money's great, you can always make money. I mean, there's literally tons of money, they print it every day, right? You can literally always make money. But, these moments in life can be very, very precious and really important. So never lose sight of that. And I'm really terrible at these motivational things. And I'm just going to shut up right now. But I love you guys. You're awesome. And, I didn't say this, but I am thankful for you. I am thankful for all of you and for always showing up to this channel and providing just, because why would I make these videos for I make them for myself, obviously I make them for you, and I want the best for everybody. I want, everyone to spread the word about Bitcoin and, understand how, the central banks are scams and how they are eroding your savings away. And, this is something that I believe in. I put my money where my mouth is. And that's why I get up and I make these videos every single day so that, I can help spread the message. And even if it just changes one person's life, or I've had so many people reach out to me and thank me for keeping them bullish and positive during this time, and that's, of course I want my bags to pump, sure. But at the end of the day, if Bitcoin wins, we all win. You see what I'm saying? That's the beauty about it. There's no one behind it. There's no company that, is profiting off the backs of others. It's, what I'm saying? So, it is the money for the people. And you're seeing guys like Javier Malay, wake up to it. You're seeing El Salvador. You're seeing BlackRock and MicroStrategy and all these different people realizing the value of it. And again, I think if you're watching this video right now, I still think you're early. And could Bitcoin go to $1 million in 5 days? I don't know. I mean, I just heard the math. Seems possible, right? Do I think that it will do that? Probably not, but I think inevitably it will go to 1 million, yes. So knowing that, does it matter if you buy at 37 or 30 or 25 or 45? Not really, when you consider the infinite upside potential to the endless amounts of dollar printing and inflation that is never going to end, by the way. So that is it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Was not expecting to have that ending to this video, but sometimes the unexpected happens. So I love you. You are awesome. You are my favorite people. You really are. I love you guys. Even the haters. I love the haters too. I love reading the hate comments. You guys are also, I love you guys as well. So that is it for me. Again, thank you so much. And, obviously Meta Signals is designed to give you an edge. I'm never not trying to, how it goes, guys. To me, I don't care what you do. Okay. It's a good product. Check it out. If you want to learn how to trade for free, there are thousands of free indicators you can literally download. And, I have free tutorials. You can watch them right here popping up right now, so that's it for me, guys. Ultimately, until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.